Can you please tell us what your first impression of this event is, and also which or what are your expectations on this?
I think this event is, I think, useful more than one reason. One is that I think last 2 decades or so, all over world, we looked into specializing into various sectoral programs and interventions, both in terms of policy, investment, and all that. This was made in terms of bringing focus on sectoral issues, but the neglect of interlinkages across the sectors had really badly affected the overall development and the path we have taken. Therefore, looking at interlinkages and acting on interlinkages and the connecting issues will make the outcomes better. I think my own understanding, making outcome better, this is one of the options. This is not the only option that is existing. But, uh, but my concern has been that in India, at least the experience is that convergence, working together, and interlinkages, departments, sectors, stakeholders. A multi-stakeholder process is a cumbersome process, and more investments are needed, more resources are needed, more energy is needed, and sometimes failure will be much higher, that is up to 90%, and success will be 10%. So how to deal with this is a concern. But there is an opportunity in terms of building civil society role in this, because now that the World Forum is talking, because I remember that 20 years back when civil society role has been thought of, World Bank and various things, that whole momentum set up. Slowly the role of civil society again in government, collaborative projects and all that has come down to delivery, but not kind of a critical role to be played. I think this will bring that focus again to civil society organization and their role in terms of convergence, in terms of looking at the interlinkages. That's an opportunity. Second opportunity is that there are a whole range of actors who are very progressive in their thinking. You take civil society institution, you take the in India this IAS officer, this executive system. There are some people very progressive in nature. Opportunities to really impress upon them on the need for the nexus and look at the whole nexus issues. So that is where I think the need to build critical mass of people to think and act on that is an important thing, and that is an opportunity I feel. But once again, given the limitations within the government system and whole range of private sector ambitions and aspirations, I think this market-led, government-led process may not yield any result, but a collaborative process wherein civil society, government, and private sector and other actors play a due role in the finance sector, play a due role, and with a required space for CS was an important in this. Both these four institutional spaces are to be required before proceeding it. Same is true with the policy and other enabling process. That is what I think